Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, Mr. Rose, and I hope all is well. DJ, cut me off, fade me out. How are you wonderful people across the world in the Digipreneur family doing? How are you doing? January 31st, episode 59. What is going on? Boy, I feel like, usually January is one of the longest months, especially when you live in a country where most people get paid monthly. So when I was in Canada and North America, for the most part, people get paid bi-weekly. That's kind of like the standard way of getting paid, right? But here in the Caribbean, the standard way of payment, if you're working for companies, is that they're paying your salaries out monthly. So in December, what happens is that they give you your salary early. That way you can go handle your Christmas shopping and whatnot. So you'll get your salaries usually mid-December. And then you got to make it all the way to the end of January in order to get your next paycheck. So January has always been that longest month. It's been doubly long ever since I have moved here, right? But I don't know. I'm feeling like January this year was like a week and a half. January flew. Like I have no, where did January go? Anyways. So on episode 59, my goodness, 59 episodes already. We are going to be diving into a topic that is overly important. Now, I know we try to talk about, everything that is, again, important within building your business digitally or building your presence digitally and monetizing and yada, yada, yada. And again, every topic that we touch on is important. But I think the reason why this particular topic is so important is because here across the Caribbean region, companies don't do this at all. This practice is almost unheard of. I have not worked with a company that does this. And if you guys have been following me, you guys have known I've worked with government. I've worked with the biggest companies across the Caribbean. And this is something that nobody is doing. And the fact that nobody is doing it, and it is one of the most important things that you have to do when building either your marketing strategy or your business development strategy, and this is not being done, is insanely scary. Now, this isn't something that is reserved only for big companies. Every single entity, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're small to medium-sized business, everybody should be doing this, all right? Everybody should be doing this. Now, when I get into the topic, you might start to think, well, there are people who are thriving digitally and they're content creators and they're not doing this. But you always have to keep in mind, our audience here on Digipreneur FM are business owners, right? The content creators who are creating content, for escapism, and they're just putting things together to make you laugh and make you feel good and whatnot. They're just exercising their creativity when they're coming up with content and putting it out. But the way businesses have to show up on social media is 1,000% different than somebody who is just creating content for shits and giggles, right? The content that we have to create needs to be strategic, and it needs to be rooted in market research. Folks, that is the topic for today. Market research. And what are the 5 factors you should know about your audience/competitors? Market research, and we're going to be diving into 5 factors. Now, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of things, like when we're doing a landscape audit, when we're doing a competitive analysis, or when we're analyzing our audiences, there's quite a few things that we look at, and all of that data that we pull, they all impact the strategy that we would put out for a particular business. So no two businesses have the same strategy digitally, because the information is all different. The information is all different. The goals of that business or that solopreneur, it's all different. So the strategy is always going to be different. So the information that we are able to extract is going to impact that strategy greatly. And again, we are so wired to, jump online, read a blog, watch a video, and, the experts say one thing, and then everybody kind of cookie cutters that exact same approach. But while there are general, good best practices, what will always change what you do, how you do it, the intensity of where you do it, where it falls on your list of priorities, is the market research. What is the data telling you? And the data for every single business is completely different, because the things that you want to, grow for, the things that you want to rank for, the things that you want to be found and known for, these things are all different for every single business, right? And their look and feel, or again, what they prioritize is different. So, nobody should have the exact same approach. You can't just, again, we get so comfortable just kind of following, what an expert says, and we run with it. But this topic, market research, is a very dynamic one, right? And the data is going to say a lot of different things, but learning how to, kind of read the data, learning how to get, or step one is really learning how to get the data, but then learning how to read it, and then, being able to take that information and turn it into a strategy that's tailor-made specifically for your business. That is really where that's the space that you want to be in, regardless of whether you are a solopreneur. And I have my hands up because I'm a solopreneur. Everything that you guys see from my brand is been made by me, outside of like photography and videography, right? But everything else is pretty much made by me. So from solopreneurs right up to, corporate entities and governments, this is something that everybody should be doing if you are trying to be found digitally, if you're trying to grow digitally. And digitally is not just social media, where this is beyond. We're talking about all of your digital channels, right? So market research, and what are 5 factors that you should know about your audience/competitors when looking at the data. So I'm going to give you guys 5 good factors to look at. This is 5 starting points for you. And then at the end, I'll give you guys some research. I'll give you guys some resources. If you guys want to, learn how to do your own market research, I'll give you guys some resources where you guys will be able to go and take some courses to learn how to do your own market research. Because again, there's hundreds of tools. And there are tools that are free. There are tools that are paid. Every strategist uses the tools differently to come up with their own ideas and whatnot, and read the information how they want. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm a big advocate for learning how to do your own market research, especially as a solopreneur. And if you are a business owner, or if you are, a business where you could either outsource the skill or you could bring somebody in to do this, I believe you need to have somebody who is doing your market research for you internally and bringing all of this data to the table. That way you guys can create a sound strategy. All right, so let's dive into it. So number 1, What is one of the first factors that you should know about your audience or your competitor? And one of the first factors, and this is something that's relatively new as the search engines become more nuanced and these guys are collecting even more data. They're also, getting their artificial intelligence better at discerning the data and giving us some really, really fun information. And one of the new pieces of data that is going to be huge in 2022, that there are a wide variety of tools that are giving this to us, is the intentions of the buyer or the intentions of the person that are conducting the search. There are a wide variety of tools that allow you to see the intentions of someone conducting the search. So let me give you guys the intentions of search. So in the buyer's journey, right? In the overall buyer's journey. Now remember, everybody, every business, your customer has a buyer's journey, right? And the 4 states of the buyer's journey, or the 4 stages of the buyer's journey, are pre-awareness. That's where people do not know that they have a problem. They're feeling a symptom, but they don't know exactly what the problem is. Then there is the awareness stage where now, they know what the problem is, right? So they'll conduct searches based, they now know what the problem is. Then the 3rd stage of the buyer's journey is pre-consideration. And then the last stage is decision, right? So in those 4 stages of the buyer's journey, there are 4 intents for someone conducting a search on the search engines. And each of those 4 intentions fit within the stages of the buyer's journey. So in stages 1 and 2, pre-awareness and awareness, the intention that people would be conducting a search in the stage of pre-awareness and awareness, this is when they're now discovering that they have a problem. The intention is typically informational. The intention behind the searches they are conducting is informational. The searcher is looking for specific information on a topic. And some of the queries, some of the things that they're going to be typing into the search engine is going to be along the lines of, guides, tutorials. They're going to have a lot of questions with who, how, because they're trying to figure out what that problem is. They want to learn more about it. They're trying to get as much information about that topic as possible. So they're going to be looking for guides. They're going to be looking for tutorials. The questions they're going to be typically asking are going to start with who and how. All right. So informational intent is usually in the first stage, the first 2 stages of the buyer's journey, which is pre-awareness and awareness. The second, this would be the 3rd stage of the buyer's journey, which is pre-consideration. People are going to be conducting searches with 2 types of intentions. The first intention is navigational intent. The searcher is looking for a specific web page or site. They're going to have queries that are going to have the names of the brand, the names of the product, the names of the service, right? Remember, they're looking, so the navigational intent, they're looking to get to that specific page. So they're going to be typing in, Nike shoes. They're going to be typing in KitchenAid, Black & Decker. Or they're going to be typing in, marketing service, right? Or SEO service. They're going to be typing in the names of a brand, a product, or service. They're trying to get to a specific destination, right? This is in the pre-consideration stage. They're looking to get to a particular product or service or brand so that they can start to consider, if they want to do business or learn more about that particular product, service, or brand. So again, pre-consideration, right? The second intent in the pre-consideration stage is the commercial intent. We know that the searcher is considering a purchase. So first is navigational. They're looking for a particular product or brand. Next up is the commercial intent. The searcher is considering a purchase. So they're going to have queries that contain modifiers in those searches. So they're on Google and they're going to be typing in something like best, cheapest, top, or review. So that could be like, hey, what are the top blenders out right now? And they're going to be looking for reviews that are going to kind of outline what are the top blenders right now. So the intention behind those searches is to make a purchase, right? They are considering their purchase. They're reading reviews. They want to figure out what is the best in that particular product or service in order to make that purchase. And then in the fourth stage of the buyer's journey, there is decision. So the fourth stage, the decision stage, the intentions behind the searches are going to be transactional intentions. The searcher wants to purchase something. So those queries may contain words such as buy, price, or coupons. At that point, they've gone through the entire journey. So they had no idea what the problem is. Then they were made aware of the problem, right? Then they move into the pre-consideration stage. So now they're going to be looking for particular things. Then they're going to be searching for reviews, guides, what is the best product in this space so that they can start to make decisions on whether or not they want to make that purchase. And then lastly, they're going to be conducting, in the decision stage, they're going to be conducting transactional intention searches. They want to buy. Right? They want to go to your website. They want to see, they want to buy your product. They want to add to cart and they want to have it shipped out. So learning the intentions, learning all of the intentions that people are conducting searches within your niche is going to be critical for your digital success, because you, as the business, you want to be the one who is found at every single step of the buyer's journey. So if somebody is, if they're in the pre-awareness stage and they know they have a problem, but they're unsure of what the problem is, and they're jumping online and they're looking for who, how, guides, they're typing in their questions to figure out what this symptom I am feeling. They're in that pre-awareness stage. You as the business want to be the one educating about all of the problems within your space. You want to be the one educating about all of the problems within your space. That way, when I type in a question, I should see you have a blog, a video, a podcast talking about that topic and talking about it in details. That way, I can start to build my trust with you that, okay, you understand what is going on, right? Then in the awareness stage, again, I have an idea as to what the problem is. So I'm going to be conducting more research to get more information. Your business wants to be found in that stage. When your peoples are now looking to get certain products, or they want to, get more information about certain brands or services, you want to be there showing up on search as well. When people want reviews, when people want to see, what is the best product to alleviate this pain or to give me a desired result, you want to be the one showing up on search with content for those searches as well. And then lastly, when the person is ready to do business, you want to be the one showing up there as well. But at that point, if you've done your job throughout the rest of the buyer's journey, they are going to have built that trust with you. So when it comes time to make the decision to finally do business, you should be the one top of mind because you have been with them every step of the way, educating them every step of the way so that trust is built. So they know, okay, I have to do business with this person because they understand what I'm going through. They understand my problems. They understand this niche. They are the experts in this niche. I trust them with their opinion. I trust them with their product. They have helped me every step of the way. I'm going to do business with them. All right. That's essentially how you build trust in the digital age now. So when you are not available via the search engines, because all you have is social media, you are greatly missing out on this, because remember, social media isn't a search engine. Social media isn't indexed in a way to be able to provide you the exact information that you want at the time that you need it. Social media is for social engagement. Sure, we educate on social media, but we don't type in a question and then your exact Instagram post pops up. Or I can't jump on Instagram and type in a question and an exact post pops up. That's not how social media works, and that's not what social media is for. Right? So as a business, this is why it is so important to have things like your website and understand how the search engines, what are the role the search engines play with helping your buyers through the buyer's journey, helping your audience understand, what it is that they want. And you want to be the one showing up at every step of the way. Now, that being said, after diving in deep about the intentions of your audience conducting these searches, the second factor that you want to know about your audience is you want to be able to conduct keyword or query research. Keyword research and query research is needed for things like advertising, right? So let's just say if you want to jump in and do Google Ads. Well, Google Ads is heavily based on keywords, right? Content for your website is heavily based on keywords. Keywords and queries. Queries also meaning questions. So if you're not conducting the research to know what are the keywords and queries or questions that your audience is putting into the search engines, then you are going to be creating a lot of content that people are probably either not asking for, or you're creating content in a way that is not searched for on the search engine. So the search engines are not going to be pulling it up when your audience is conducting their searches, right? So in the keyword and query research, it also helps you understand the mindset of your audience, because we are able to extract the data of all of the questions and queries that people are conducting on Google, on Bing. We can pull that information and then we can sift through it. And we have tools that break down, who, what, where, why, how, and it gives us a breakdown of all of those questions. And even if you don't, using a tool, even just jumping on Google and using Google Auto Search. So if I jump in on Google and I type in, pancakes, if you just type in a keyword, you can see what are some of the recent searches that have been conducted in your country. And you can kind of have an idea as to what types of questions that people are asking, right? Now, that is a very high level information, because you're not going to get, things like, the volume searches. It's not going to give you the exhaustive list as to everything that people have searched, but it gives you some information without using any kind of tool. What are some of the things that people are asking for in your country, by just going on Google, putting in a keyword in your space. So you could type in, like I use the example of pancakes. I could type in photography, and once I type that in, I could see things like photography logos, photography courses, photography contract templates, photography quotes, photography cameras in Trinidad, photography equipment in Trinidad. I can see that those are some of the queries and questions that people have typed in to Google, right? So now that when you do the keyword research and you can understand the mind state of your audience, it makes it that much easier to create the right content. It gives you that mindset it gives you the understanding of the mind state that the people conducting your searches are at. So clearly, photography contracts, we have photographers that, they need legal help. They're probably looking for like model release forms and things of that nature, right? So who is that helpful for? Let's just say if I'm a lawyer and I'm trying to create products, and those products might be downloadable contracts. I might be doing research in every single space that I can think of and look to see what types of contracts people need in each of these in each of these niches, and then go out and create the contracts and make it as a downloadable template for purchase. So seeing that people are looking for photography contracts, I would go and research. If I was a lawyer, I would look at what are all of the types of contracts that somebody like a photographer or videographer would need. And then I would create them, put them on my website as a product to purchase and download, and have them there. And I might not have ever have thought about photography as a space needing contracts, because most lawyers don't think about it. They're thinking about other things, wills, land deeds. They're thinking about other things. But being able to do this research and being creative and looking at the data can help you in your space. So if I'm a lawyer and I'm seeing that, I'm like, oh, damn, photographers need contracts too. Yo, let me go and whip up some intellectual property contracts. That can help them. That way, when somebody types in photography contract templates, my website with my content should show up. And I should be, if I'm a lawyer, I should have content talking about, what is the types of contracts that you're going to need to educate the photographer, right? Educate them on the types of contracts. Then I should, give examples of good contracts or why contracts is needed or how it can help you or save you money or save you legal troubles from down the line. And then when I have the products to purchase and download, at that point, the photographer should have built up trust with me. That way they purchase the photography contracts that I have available on my website. And that's a bit of how, this type of work works. So the third factor you should kind of look at when you're doing your market research is location demographics. Where are the people conducting the searches located? So I could jump into a tool that gives me the exact country that people are conducting the searches from. And then I can also specify the country, and that'll give me the cities that people are conducting those searches from. And that would help me understand the audience. That would help me understand the landscape. Now, if I'm doing things like ads and I want to target specific cities, once I know where those searches are coming from, I could jump into something like a Facebook ads, and rather than target the entire country, if I know that there are 5 key cities that are doing these searches looking for a particular topic, when I run those ads, I can target those 5 specific cities, right? So you want to know where where the people who are conducting your searches, where are they coming from, right? My favorite tool to use for location demographics, I like to use Google Trends, right? Also, if you're looking to do offline activities, so let's just say you want to do a workshop. And you're gonna have your own bias as to where you should probably do that workshop. And as a solopreneur, as a small business, you're mainly thinking about where's the cheapest place I can go and host this workshop, right? But if I'm gonna do an offline workshop, I kind of want to know, where are the people that are conducting these searches? What cities are these people from that are conducting these searches? And I would put out, and I would try to see if I could do a workshop there. At the end of the day, we're testing. Everything is a test for us, right? So I might see some cities. I might see a city where I'm like, yo, what? They're searching for this thing? And I would have never have thought about it. But if Google is telling me that these people are conducting these searches from the cities, it may be worthwhile to go check out to see if you can go and host a workshop in that particular city, because you know that they are conducting the searches around that topic or niche that you are looking for. All right. So location demographics help you with either the advertising, and it gives you a guideline as to where your people are, and it also help you if you're going to be conducting any sort of offline activities as well. The fourth factor that you could look for that will help your landscape. And in this podcast, I'm not trying to talk about too many tools, because there are so many tools that can be used that are free and also paid. And I want you guys to be able to jump into Google, do your research as well. I'm giving you guys things to be looking for, and you guys can pop these things into Google, and you guys can learn about the variety of different tools and see what makes sense for you, for your budget, and you'd be able to start to conduct your own research, right? That fourth factor is analyzing the landscape of the websites in your niche. So there is quite a bit of tools that we can use where we can look at, what are all of the websites within my niche? What are the websites of my competitors in my landscape in totality? And we can put all of these things into certain tools. So one of the tools I use is a tool called RFs and SEMrush. And those tools allow me to analyze the landscape of all of the websites in my particular niche to give me some really interesting pieces of data to help influence my strategy. So I could analyze, 20 websites within my niche in my country, and I could start to see things like what are the common questions and queries that people are asking all of us. What questions and queries are, the competitors and myself? What has been answered? I could also see the gaps. What are all of the things that people are asking that have not been answered by any of us? So I could also see the gap content that, is not being answered whatsoever. And then that would allow me to now figure out, which ones have a high search volume that I could start to go after and target. All right. So I could analyze all 20 websites. I can see, okay, these questions have been answered by a variety of us or whatever, but then I could also see what are the questions and queries that nobody has touched but is being asked in our respective space. And then I can go out and target those things, and that'll allow me to bring in more traffic to my platforms, right? And that is a big hack. Being able to see the gaps in the content and questions and queries that nobody in your landscape is asking for, is nobody is answering. That is a big gap. That's going to allow you to be found where your competitors are not found, but found for the right reasons. And you would not know what all of your competitors have asked or what is generating the buzz, and what they're not answering but falls in all of your garden. You would not know that if you're not doing the research, right? It'll also give you things like the age and gender of everybody that is visiting all of the websites in your landscape. So imagine you have the top 20 competitors' websites to build up your landscape, and you can now see what is the age and gender of every single person that is visiting those websites. Because remember, the search engines they are tracking all of that information. So all of that information is being tracked, but there are tools that are going to allow us to receive that information. And then also, you're able to see what social media platforms are being used by everybody within those spaces. So if, most times when people are deciding, which social media platform to use, everybody does it based on their own bias, right? Especially here in the Caribbean, nobody's doing the research to figure out which platform are our people on. People just use what they think is popular. People are quick to jump up and say, hey, I don't get no traction on Facebook, so we're not putting no focus there. When Facebook is still the largest and most active social media platform in the Caribbean, but if you haven't done the research to create the right content to know what your people want, then of course you're not going to get the results that you would like. You're not creating the right things to even generate the right buzz. Do you even know, the times that your people are posting? Do you know what hashtags to use? Like, again, if the research isn't done, you're never going to be able to find the success. And businesses, especially here in the Caribbean, are so focused on throwing money at the problem. Let's just boost the Facebook post. Let's just boost the Instagram post. Boost. Let's just advertise, and then quick to say that, we're not getting the return that we would like. But none of your stuff is based on the research to even create the right things that you should be creating, which is ultimately why you're going to continue not to get the results that you want, right? So we are able to see, when we analyze all of the websites, we can see what are the top social media platforms that people are using in our landscape. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it Facebook? We're going to be able to see all of those things and then strategically make a decision as to what social media platforms we want to be active on and be the most active on, and what type of content we're going to be putting out, right? Which leads me to the fifth factor that you should be looking for when doing your market research, right? Now, again, there's tons of factors. I'm just giving you guys 5 starting points so that you guys can get accustomed to learning how to do market research. And remember, at the end of this, I'm going to be giving you guys some resources. If you guys want to go and learn, take some courses to learn how to do market research. That way you guys can get more data and start to take that information and turn it into a strategy. I'll be giving you guys those resources as well. So that fifth factor that I'll let you guys know is when we're looking at social media. So there are tons of tools that analyze social media for yourself and all of your competitors, right? So you don't just want to look at the data from your own social media, because that is just going to show you, what have people engaged on when they have landed on your page. What are the age and genders of the people who have landed on your content and whatnot. Ideally, you want the tools that are going to analyze all of the competitors in your industry, so you have an idea of the average in the landscape. So you have idea of the trends and what's working in your entire landscape. So when we are analyzing our competitors on social media, here are some key factors that we can get. We can see what are the top posts that are generating the most engagement in your landscape. And you can get that down to, you can get that down into so much details. After analyzing all of the people in your space, all of your competitors, we have tools that are going to show us, hey, these are the top posts generating the most engagement on this platform. So it'll show us platforms from Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, Pinterest. It'll show us which platform and which piece of content is getting the most engagement. And then you, the human, can start to look at it and start to take cues as to, why this content is doing so well. What are some of the things that they are doing? And then from analyzing the top posts, we can start to see one of my favorite things, which is we have tools that show us the top topics that are generating the most engagement in the entire landscape. So just imagine you plug in all of your competitors with all of their social media handles and all of the platforms, and then we're able to see what are the top topics that these people are creating content on that is generating the most engagement. And that way, we know what type of topics to create. So if I'm in the food industry, or let's just say if I'm a personal trainer, and I put in the top personal trainers in my country, and I see for the last 30 days that the keto diet was the top topic discussed that generated the most engagement, well, I'm going to create some content around the keto diet. I would then do the market research, learn how to extract that data on Google, and look at what are the top questions that people are asking about in my country about the keto diet, and then create content around the keto diet. Look for which questions and queries are generating the highest search volumes on Google, and then answer those questions in my content. And I would have done that because when I analyze my competitors on social media to see which topics are generating the most engagement, and I seen keto, well, guess what? That only makes sense. It only makes sense. And this is why we do the market research. This is where, all of those pieces fit into the puzzle. So I see that, okay, on social media, keto diet generated the most engagement. It was a topic that generated the most engagement across all of my competitors. Well, shoot, let's create some content on keto. let's go and look and see what are the questions and queries that people in my country are asking about keto. Let me analyze all of my competitors' websites. Now, keep in mind, some of you guys are going to be in spaces where your competitors ain't, they're not doing what they had to do. So they probably, some of them don't have websites, right? But you would put in all of the people that do. But anyways, let's just assume that everybody in your space has a website, right? So we see that keto is getting the most engagement. We would go jump in one of our tools that generates all the questions that people are asking about keto, make note of which one has the highest search volumes. We would then jump into our tool that's analyzing everybody's websites, and we would look and see, okay, who has created content around keto on their websites? What has been answered? Let's go look at it. Let's see if we could either one up their content, right, to create a better resource. And then we want to look and see, what questions are being answered that nobody is answering on their websites. So we know what type of content to create on our website or create on our YouTube channel, but then we know what types of content we need to go and create on social media to generate that engagement. So you see, all of these things fit together, but you have to be able to get all of that information on the table to be able to put it all together. All right. So after you see, some of the topics on social media from the landscape, we also are able to see, and again, there's a wide variety, there's hundreds of tools that do this, right? We're also able to see what types of tools not what types of tools. We are also able to see what types of posts, what types of content are generating the most engagement. Is it a static photo? Is it a video? Is it a carousel? Is it a link, like a link to, somewhere else, link to a website, link to a YouTube channel? Is it an audiogram? We're able to see what types of content are generating the most engagement within the entire landscape. So if I analyze my top 10 competitors and I see that, hey, wait a minute, carousels are what's generating the highest engagement in my entire landscape, then I know that the post that I'm about to create on keto diet needs to be done in a carousel. It needs to be done in the carousel. If photos are the second highest, I might have a picture, a static photo of what a keto recipe looks like or what a keto meal looks like. If video is third, at that point I might go and do a video. But then you guys can gauge. You guys can look and see what is your audience engaging on, and that would influence what type of content you're going to go about creating on social media. The reality is that everybody's creating with a bias. You're either creating, you're creating based on what you think you should create. But remember, as a business, we need to think completely different from content creators who are randomly creating content. We need to be thinking way more strategic than that. So I want to know what is generating the highest engagement in my landscape. Is it static photos? Is it videos? Is it links? Is it carousels? And that is going to influence the volume or the amount of those types of content that I do. And then I'd be able to look through the other pieces of information that we would have gathered and seen something like a question like, what is keto diet? And I would put that into a carousel. I'd put that into a carousel because I would have looked and seen that, hey, there's a high search volume for what is the keto diet. We know that, somebody asking about, what the keto diet or who created the keto diet. These are things that people are going to be searching for in the very early stages of their buyer's journey to figure this thing out. And we're going to create the content on our websites. But then again, when we're going to be condensing that information and putting it on social media, we can see that carousels are generating the highest engagement. Well, we're going to put that same, what is the keto diet? We're going to do a carousel on that and get that onto social media because we want to create the things that are going to give us the highest chance for maximum return. All right. We're also going to be able to see things so when you go on social media, you can see what times the people in your audience are on social media. But we have tools that show us when we analyze all of the competitors, we have tools to see, what times our competitors are posting on social media, but we can also see what times, the averages of what times and what days that the entire landscape is getting the highest engagement. So if all 10 of the competitors that we've analyzed, if Thursdays is the day at 5 p.m. that generates the highest engagement for all of us, then I'm going to ensure that we have content coming out on Thursdays at 5 p.m. You need to go beyond looking at what time that your people are online, and you also need to understand the entire landscape. What time is our landscape getting the engagement, right? What time? Because we're competing for attention. We are competing for attention every single day with social media and being on Google and whatnot. So you want to be able to give your business the best chance to show up and to be found at the right time that people are, conducting the searches, or the best time that your entire landscape is online. All right. So go beyond just looking at your own information. You want to be able to look at, what is happening within the entire landscape, and start to use that as a part of your decision-making process for building your brand digitally. So just to quickly recap, and again, these are 5 factors that you should be looking for when conducting your own market research. Number 1, what is the intentions of the buyer? Remember, the 4 intentions are informational intent, navigational intent, commercial intent, transactional intent, right? 2, keyword research. That can be used for advertising and understanding the mindset of your customer. Keyword research is going to help with understanding the mindset of your customer, but also, what are the questions and queries that they are asking on Google or any of the search engines. 3, location demographics. Where are the people conducting the searches located? All right. Number 4, learning how to analyze all of the websites within your niche. That way you can see what are the common questions and queries that people are asking. What are the gaps in the content? What are the demographics of everybody who is visiting your entire landscape? What is the age? What is the gender of those people? And what social media platforms, the platforms that people are typically using from all of the websites that you would have analyzed within your space. What social media platforms are you using? Again, we're able to get that information. And then number 5, on social media, what are the top topics that are generating the highest engagement within your space? What are the top types of content being posted that are generating the highest engagement? What times, what days are your competitors posting that's generating the highest engagement on social media? So those 5 factors are going to give you a nice base of what you should be looking for when conducting your research. And again, there are tons of information that we can get when we learn how to do market research. So in terms of resources, if you are looking to learn how to do your own market research, or you have a company and you want to, make sure that one of your peoples get trained on doing market research, the 2 places that I would say to start is 1, HubSpot Academy. HubSpot Academy has things like SEO courses. They have marketing courses as well. And their courses are free. Their certifications are free. So I would start there, learn how to do SEO, do their marketing courses, right? And that is going to put you in contact with a variety of tools to be able to get data. The second place I would say is a starting point to learn is SEMrush Academy, SEMrush Academy. And they have a wide variety of market research courses and SEO courses that you guys can take. Those courses are free as well. And when you do those courses, when you do their marketing courses, you do their SEO courses, those courses are going to instruct you on their tools, but also the strategies used to be able to conduct market research, that you can start to get your own data, and that will allow you to create your strategies around those things. And then if you review this episode and you look at some of the 5 factors that we talked about in this episode, you can put those things into Google and you could see the hundreds of tools that pop up that give you that particular information. Then you're going to go jump on YouTube, watch reviews, watch what those tools are about, watch the types of information that these guys are give you. This is an episode where I want you guys to take some action on your own. I don't want to spoon feed every single thing, but I want you guys, because there is so many tools that are available, and again, because there's so many, I have not checked out and reviewed every single tool, but I have the tools that I use. You guys will be able to jump into Google and find tools that work for you, that work for your budget, or that are free, and then you're going to be able to use those tools to get the information that you need. And that is going to help you create your strategies for your marketing and your business development and grow your business and your digital presence. All right. So all that being said, that is episode number 59 for me. That's a wrap for us here. Don't forget, if you are not following me on social media, I am at Karen Rose on every single social media platform. I'm most active on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and we're kicking the year off in TikTok hardcore. All right, so you guys can go and follow me over there and reach out to me on those social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to the KarenRose.com website. We always talk about building your digital presence, monetizing your platforms, and other types of blogs where I'm talking about the journey of building building digitally in the Caribbean and whatnot. So you can subscribe over on that platform. You can visit the digipreneur.fm website. Make sure you guys get on the email list or the notification list. That way and don't ever miss an episode. All right. If you can, pretty please, one favor to ask is, if you can, please drop a review of the podcast or rate the podcast on any of the directories that you listen to this podcast on. The reviews and the ratings help continue to grow the podcast and ultimately grow the Digipreneur FM family across the world. So if you can, please take a moment, drop a rating or drop a review. Those things help me out tremendously, and I love to get feedback from you as well. That is it from me, folks. I hope you guys enjoy what's left of January, and I hope you guys have an amazing start to your February, all right? Take care!
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.